So, good day. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the Relos, the True Blues, and all you blokes and Sheilas out there. All I can say is I think that's Safaya Day coming. That pretty much winds up with how I can speak Australian, other than Foster's, I think. But seriously, welcome to you all. I'm John Lyons, Lindsay's dad. I think you picked up on that earlier. And together with my wife Linda, we would just love to welcome you to this evening, and we're thrilled that you could all join us. I wanted to just point out a few of the folks that have come from far and wide. As many of you have heard, we've got people from Australia. We have people here from London. So truly an intercontinental wedding is the way we've kind of been characterizing this. Am I still okay back there? Yep. Okay, good. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the Gordon Hillary family into our family. Gordon and Alice, and certainly Nathan and his lovely sister Sarah. We're thrilled that we're all relatives now. And so I've got relatives in Australia, and I've got a daughter that works for an airline, so there's no excuse for not making it down there. Down under. I wanted to let everybody know that my mom is here, Leela Lyons, who will be 90 years old in about 3 weeks. Also kind of representing the Lyons family side of things is my lovely cousin Cheryl Pico, who lives in Orange County. And certainly we've got a number of guests who have traveled a long way. Lindsay's got lots of friends that came from Houston. I've got dear friends that I grew up with. My good friend Frost Johnson. I hope he's sitting here somewhere. He and I have known each other our entire lives. We grew up together in Albuquerque, and he came to the wedding from Portland, Oregon.
He's in the restroom.
Oh. Very dear friend that I went to high school with. Chris Linton and Bill Harris came from Albuquerque. And our former next-door neighbors when we lived in Houston years and years and years ago, Matt and Jackie Wenzel and their lovely daughter Kelly, and their absolutely lovely granddaughter and flower girl Ashlyn came all the way from Richmond, Virginia. You know, there's a lot of weddings where you can come from the opposite coast and get the prize for the furthest distance traveled, but in this crowd tonight, I don't think you're in the top 20. But anyway, thank you all for coming to see us tonight and helping us celebrate Lindsay's and Nathan's wedding. Certainly would like to quickly acknowledge that beautiful bridal party. My younger daughter Jillian, who was maid of honor, and then Amanda, Heather, and Emily rounded out the lovely ladies. And didn't Heather sing a great song? And not to be outdone on the men's side, you know, what a handsome crew there. Ben, the best man, the best mate, I think you call him. And the rest of the group's mates, Adrian and Brooke and Scott. Thank you all for sharing this night. And rounding out the wedding party is our flower girl, Ashlyn Russell. Was she terrific? Was she terrific? Where's Ashlyn? Forget about it. I taught her that when she was 3. Her mom wanted to kill me.
Thanks, John.
And Pastor Don. Is Pastor Don still with us this evening?
Maybe.
Was that a great service? Wasn't that terrific? Just can't thank him enough for the wonderful service that he provided. Lindsay, I have to say how absolutely spectacularly beautiful you look, and how proud both your mother and I are of you, and what a beautiful young lady you have become. Know that even tonight, as I step figuratively into the background, I'll always continue to be there for me when you need me. I want you to know, Lindsay, how lucky and blessed I feel having you as my daughter. You've watched her grow up, beautiful and confident young woman that she has become. We're absolutely overjoyed as we witness you and Nathan beginning your life together. Lindsay brings to this marriage a true zest for life, whether it's skydiving, and she did that as soon as she was legal on her 18th birthday, and she's actually roping Nathan into doing that on their honeymoon in Hawaii next week, or whether it's parasailing or running a half marathon with Dad last fall, or it's river rafting, or floating down the Guadalupe River in Texas, or zip lining in Belize. She's always looking for something exciting like that to do. She wandered across Europe like so many young people did, and that fueled the fire to travel, and it evolved into going to work for Continental Airlines. And she's just all over the globe. She calls me and tells me these crazy places that she is, and it's a lot of fun. So, got to tell one story. Again, kind of an outdoorsy thing. Lindsay and I found ourselves one time on a bicycle built for two, trying to get over the Golden Gate Bridge. And it was fun. It was a beautiful day, and we were just having a great time. I'm up front, and Lindsay's in the back. And it's getting a little harder, a little slower, and I'm like, what is going on here? And we had a couple of gals on bicycles come the other way, and they said, hey, she's not pedaling. so a little advice to Nathan, you might want to ride in the back. So there's really a great irony about this day. You know, as a father, you kind of fear this day will come. And also you kind of fear that it may not come. So, you know, well, part of me as the father always wants to hold on to my dear sweet daughter. You know, my far greater hope and wish as a father is that she meet and fall in love with a life mate, you know, with a wonderful young man with whom she builds her own life, with whom she builds their own life and raises a family. Which brings us to Nathan. Seriously, though, Gordon and Alice, you can be genuinely proud of what a wonderful son you've raised. We couldn't be more thrilled that he's a member of our family now. Absolutely. I got a son now, and I got the fully grown version. What's wrong with that? That's perfect. So I've got a couple of Nathan stories here. For those of you that joined us last night at the rehearsal dinner, I'm not going to be able to top that finger story. You guys will have to, as you get around tonight and speak to Gordon, ask him about the finger story. I won't elaborate. But I called the best mate, Ben, a couple of weeks back just to see if I could get a little bit of a lowdown on Nathan for purposes of this chat tonight. And I loved what Ben said. He said, well, there's no shortage of material. So, you know, the very first time I met him, I mean, Nathan exhibited the confidence and self-assuredness that, you know, I came to know and love about him. You know, I asked him, I said, so what part of the island are you from? And he said, continent. I said, excuse me? He said, Australia's a continent. So, okay. So, Nathan, we talked about that last night a little bit. Nathan, I also came to find out, is a scratch golfer. And so for those of you that don't golf and might not know what that term means, it basically means don't play him for money. This guy is a good golfer. So, a couple of golf stories. Lindsay and Nathan went to a wedding in Atlanta, and they drove over, and I think you drove back the Sunday of the final Sunday of the Masters. And Nathan apparently is just grumbling the whole way about how anybody can be so insensitive as to get married the weekend of the Masters. and they stopped apparently at every Best Buy across Alabama and Mississippi looking for Sirius satellite gear to listen to the Masters, and so that was quite a trip back to Houston from what I gather. Another kind of a trip story. So Lindsay's, over the course of the last few months, kind of come back to California from time to time just to do various wedding things. And one of the times Nathan says, well, I'll come along and help. So I think Lindsay got a little suspicious when the golf clubs got packed. and he was, I gather, kind of surreptitiously scheduling a tea time at Torrey Pines and a tea time at Pechanga. But he had the good sense and the foresight to kind of book Lindsay into the spa there at Pechanga. So the story did have a happy ending. So I wanted to just end with a few words of fatherly advice as you embark upon your marriage. And honestly, as I listened to Pastor Don give his advice on marriage, I thought there is no way that I'm going to be able to top that. So kind of what he said. But seriously, you're building a life together. That your mother and I always looked at it that way. And you know, each phase of that comes in its time, and enjoy it as you live it and breathe it together. And you simply can't go wrong. Revel in the joy of building your life together. Make every moment, every memory count. Every stage of your life will be rich and rewarding as you share it all together. And again, what he said. So I've got just a couple of quick quotes, and then I'm finished. I found a couple of people who can say things so much more elegantly than I. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. And that was Aristotle. I like that. I've got just a couple more short ones. With such a master speed, cannot be parted nor swept away from one another. Once you are agreed that life is life forevermore together, wing to wing and oar to oar. And that was Robert Frost. And just to kind of end, on an upbeat kind of a whimsical note, Ogden Nash advises to keep your marriage brimming with love in the wedding cup. Whenever you're wrong, admit it, and whenever you're right, shut up. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great deal of love and pride that I ask you all to now please raise your glasses and join me in welcoming the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Nathan Hillary.
Here, here.
What he said.
All right, we'll now give the microphone to our best man.